Hey everybody, Randy here with Stay Broke Business Consulting. Welcome to day 30 of building $1 million business in 1 year. Today it's been more of the same, working on our website and pushing on social media. We hit some milestones. We got our 50 subscribers on YouTube, which means now we can go live, which is part of our plan to get into the ad revenue space and be able to generate some income from that. But we're doing this challenge. We're building $1 million business in 1 year, and we're trying to do it to inspire people to push themselves, beyond what they think is achievable in starting a new business. But with that, I can't pretend like it's as hard for me right now as it was when I was starting my first business or my second business. We have a lot of advantages. I want to talk about those. And, we picked $1 million because that's something that is going to push me. It's something that I have to work towards. If I was just going to say, I just want to build a business where I take home $100,000 for the year, it wouldn't be hard for me because I can throw money at it, and that's just not a challenge, and it's not going to be realistic, right? So by setting my goal a little higher, I'm going to have to work at it. I'm not going to just throw a bunch of money at it, but there are things that I'm utilizing. Like, we needed to get a certain number of followers, so I did a giveaway. And if I was in a financial situation where, most entrepreneurs are when they're starting a business, there's no way I'd be giving away money because I'd be counting every penny and hanging on tight to every dollar I have. I've been there, I've done that. I don't have to do that right now, and I have to continue running another business, doing my job day to day, and doing all the other, or taking care of all my other responsibilities. I can't just start from scratch. It's hard, but I'm at least trying to make the goals hard enough to achieve that just having my resources or having a little bit of extra money to throw at something isn't going to just get me there magically, right? And we picked not necessarily an industry we're unfamiliar with, but definitely things we're not familiar with, like the social media stuff. And even with that, just being able to hire Travis right out of the gate and have him come in and start working with me, making sure that the videos that we're putting out are quality. That kind of gives me a little bit of an edge for sure. But as far as like how social media works, the algorithms, all that stuff, I don't know anything about that. And I could bring somebody else in to help me a little bit more, but right now I have the time to do it. We're still waiting on our website to be finished. We're trying to push on that every day a little bit more to make sure our web designer's not waiting on us. And while that's happening, we're scheduling out some interviews and doing some other stuff. But I have a little bit of extra time right now, so I am trying to utilize that to understand how social media works and get as much out of it as I can, because here in the next, 2-4 weeks, I'm not going to have time to spend hours a day on the computer, so I have to have a plan and a schedule to make sure that this thing can keep going. I have an SUV. We have trucks if we need them. We have an office space. We have an office manager. So these are all things that are a huge advantage. And to say because I can start $1 million business in 1 year, you should be able to start a business too and achieve your goals in 1 year, which you can. It's just not going to be as easy, right? Like I said, I've been there, I've done it. But even when I was doing that, I took advantage of every resource I had to try and make that work, to try and achieve those goals. I way overshot with my goals, and some of them I hit, some of them I didn't. But by the end of my first year, in our utility company, for example, we generated over $1 million in income, but with that, we also tried to shortcut some processes, and I left $500,000 on the table of uncollected AR, and that hurt. That was almost the difference between us making it and not. So now that put me in a bad situation where I had to figure out how to overcome that, and I didn't have extra income. I didn't have another job that I was doing. Sure, I was like building furniture on the side where I could pick up little construction jobs. I'd rent equipment. I could go do little side jobs. We were doing all kinds of different things just to try and survive while we were working on our core services. And I'm essentially doing the same thing here. It's just on a bigger scale. I have a job that I do daily that I get a paycheck for. So I'm able to go into this business without obsessing over money and how I'm going to survive. So that in itself gives me a huge advantage just in my mental space, right? And my mental health. But then I have a network that I've been building for 10 years. I have, all these things that I've been working towards, which is making my life a lot easier now. So as I go through this journey, I want to keep pointing this stuff out. I'm going to be honest about what we're spending money on. That's why we're going to go over our finances at the end of the month. And this is what has had me thinking about this whole thing. When we get to the end of the month, our finances are going to look terrible. And I know they are, because I've been investing more money into things than we've been bringing in completely. And we've been putting a lot of resources into social media, and we're not going to see a payout from this for a while, right? And I know that, but I can accept that because I'm not worried about taking home a paycheck. I'm not worried how I'm going to put food on the table tonight. So that's why we're going to go over our finances every month. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the processes I'm going through, because the whole goal is to show you that, like, put your mind to it, utilize the resources you have. I'm doing a lot of stuff by myself that I've never tried before and haven't been comfortable with. AI is playing a big role in what I'm able to achieve. I'm trying to do stuff by myself. We're going to be doing a video on, I'm trying to save $80,000 right now by not paying a software development company to build some software for me. I'm going to try and do the programming myself. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not technically savvy. I barely know how to type. I'm a hunt and peck all the way, but I'm going to try and do this because that's a significant amount of money. If I can save that, or at least a portion of that, and then pass the product off that I produce to a developer, and I can shortcut that process, then it's totally worth it, because I have time to do that right now. And we're talking about a significant amount of money, first off, but secondly, trying to explain exactly what I need to a developer has proven to be a challenge. So doing that myself, I'm going to be able to adjust it and tweak it as I go. And maybe all I'll end up with at the end of it is a full explanation and picture of what I'm trying to achieve. And if I can get to that and hand that off to a developer, then I at least know I'm going to get a product that's going to fill my needs. So the whole point of this is, I know there's going to be people saying, oh, he's just buying himself a company or buying his way through it. And I don't want to focus on that. I've said this before. The $1 million is a hook. It's to get interest. At the end of the day, we're trying to build a real company where we can help other businesses and entrepreneurs achieve their goals. There are so many opportunities out there. Everybody wants to look at like what's right in front of them and say, oh, I should buy a mower and start a lawn mowing company. If that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's so many opportunities out there that people don't see because they're not willing to put in the time and effort into looking into them. I've talked about it a little bit. I'll talk about it more as we go on. But, going to work for a company for a year, not making enough money, not doing what I wanted to do, just looking for the right opportunity to build a business around, like that took a year of my life, and I'll never get that back. But without making that sacrifice, I would have never had the idea that I had. And then, the doubt that comes with all of this, when I say I'm going to build a whole business around water meters, and I think I can generate millions of dollars a year in revenue. And everybody told me I was wrong, from family to the clients that I was trying to obtain. Everybody said I was wrong. So I had to do a lot of other things, services that I did not want to do and that we did not make a lot of money at, to struggle through it until the need presented itself and we were the solution and we were already ready to go. Um, there's lots of those things. You think you see something until you try it. You don't know if it's real or not. I felt 100% like it was real. I dedicated my life to it and it worked out for me, but it could have easily went the other way, where one simple change in the market or change in code could have completely eliminated everything I was trying to accomplish. But it didn't. And now I'm filling a need and I'm the only one doing it the way I do it. And without taking that year to sacrifice to figure out what I wanted to do, I would have probably ended up being just another framer or another trim carpenter, like been out there bidding against everybody else. Instead, we got ahead of the pack and now we have everybody trying to catch up to us, trying to figure out how to get into our market that we created. These are the things that this whole thing is about. This is what we want to focus on. The fact that I gave away some money to gain some followers, like, is that fair? I don't know. But is that the main point of what we're trying to achieve? No. I'm trying to put everything into overdrive and accomplish as much as I can, as quick as I can. And I wouldn't say it's a shortcut, but when everybody tells me that it takes, 2 or 3+ years to start generating income on social media or to get a good following, I take that as a challenge accepted. Let me see if there's a way that I can make it happen quicker, and that's what I'm trying to do. So if I have to throw a couple $100 at it, then that's what I'm going to do. But I want to push the limits and see how quickly I can achieve these goals that I've set forth. And ideally, I said I want to make $1 million business, but I would love to be at the end of the year and have, $2 or $3 million in contracts and really show that we pushed it. Like, $1 million's a hook. That's not necessarily my goal. My goals in my head are so far beyond, and I drive myself crazy thinking about them and pushing towards them. And, I'm going to have to overcome the haters and the doubters like I always do. And that lives in my headspace too. But at least I know if I'm being honest and upfront about what we're really doing on a day-to-day basis and how we're really doing it, then hopefully I help a few people along the way. And I build some trust and can actually grow this business, Stay Broke Business Consulting, off of, build it on a foundation that's held up by trust, right? That's what we're after here. So if you had any doubt, hopefully this helps, but let's stay focused on the ideas, the principles, the processes behind what we're doing, and hopefully we can learn something together over the next year. So if you're not already, like, follow, subscribe. We put different content out on different platforms. Check out our TikTok. We've been putting a lot of time and effort into that, but we appreciate you watching. And as always, stay broke.